big thing that, of course, everybody's talking about now is the negotiations over this bailout package that Treasury Secretary Paulson proposed over the weekend. The one thing that I'm opposed to more than anything else in the package is paragraph 8, the one that says that whatever the Treasury Department does cannot be subject to review by anybody else. This is a democracy, folks. That ought to concern you. But, you know, something had to be done. But the point is, why are we privatizing profit and socializing loss? And these are Republicans doing this? This is a Republican president that's doing this? And I would ask you to look at what's happened in the last week. We, of course, took an 80% stake in AIG. But they should be able to sell a lot of their operations to cover a lot of that debt. What is particularly bothersome is what has happened. Lehman Brothers was purchased by Barclays, a British company. Their Asian operations were bought by Nomura Bank in Japan. Now we've got two major brokerage houses left on Wall Street, Morgan Stanley and Goldman Sachs. Morgan Stanley today sold a 20% share to Mitsubishi. And they're in talks to sell another 40%, which would give CIC 49%. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with CIC, CIC is a hedge fund that is operated by the Chinese government. The Chinese government is now going to have a major stake in Wall Street. Does that bother you? It kind of freaks me out, you know. Mao on Wall Street. Doesn't that kind of freak you out a little bit? Does me. But you've got these sovereign wealth, you know, it's bad enough that you've got these hedge funds that have just been pillaging Wall Street. And, you know, you've seen what a hedge fund did to the Wichita Eagle. You're seeing what hedge funds have done. You know, I've told you on any number of occasions what has happened to the American insurance industry. Why there's a push for tort reform? It's not doctors that are pushing for tort reform. It's insurance companies. It's insurance companies that are controlled by Great Britain, the Netherlands, and Germany, because they control the bulk of the world's insurance industry. We don't control our own insurance industry. Now we don't control our own banking industry. Where is our sovereignty, ladies and gentlemen? And is that a partisan issue? I don't think it should be. That's something you need to think about. What's happening to U.S. sovereignty in all of this? If our insurance industry is owned by the British, the Germans, and the Dutch, and they're constantly clamoring for changes in our court system to suit them, and now we've got, you know, Citibank, which is basically controlled by the Arabs, and you've got Morgan Stanley, which will soon be 49% owned by the government of China. You've got another major sovereign wealth fund. You've got sovereign wealth funds from Korea and Singapore that are standing on the sidelines looking to come in here. Where is U.S. sovereignty here? And now, part of this bailout, according to Paulson, is going to go bail out foreign banks like HSBC. And now they're going to be able to buy anything. Credit card debt, mortgages, any debt. So basically, we're doing all this for them. What about the poor person that's barely scraping by on their mortgage? Can't they be refinanced? Well, that's exactly what Chris Dodd and Barney Frank are trying to push through here. And Gene, if you're out there, the amazing thing is you've got Charles Schumer arguing with those two. Charles Schumer is on the same side as Bush. So this isn't a liberal or conservative. This isn't a Republican or Democrat thing. In fact, I think the smartest things that I've heard this weekend, I'll admit it. It's not going to change my mind about the presidential campaign, but I think the smartest proposal this weekend came from John McCain. He said that if we have to buy paper from a company, then the executives of that company have to agree that they're not going to be paid more than the highest paid American government worker. Which I think is great. I mean, there are some of these people. There is one hedge fund manager that last year had an income, personal income, $3 billion. Ain't nobody on this planet worth that kind of money, folks. Nobody. And it's time to rein this stuff in. But those